Hi everyone, I'm Alan. I'm with the Rabbit Show, and I'm live from Singapore, also known as the Lion City. It's at the base of the Malaysian Peninsula. Just north of us is Malaysia, just south of us, the giant island country of Indonesia. And somewhere in the center is a very, very tiny country called Singapore. It's only 40 miles long. It's a city-state. There's 6 million people living in here. There's a lot of people living basically on top of each other. And there's people here that specialize in rabbits because rabbits make a lot of sense in small parts where you don't have a lot of space to keep your animals. We're joined today, we're going to Rabbit headquarters, that's RHQ. It's a rabbit and cavy only shop. It's in Singapore, and we're going to give a tour today with owners Alfie and Dylan. So without further ado, let's head inside.
Hi guys,
This is Alfie. He's one of the co-owners of RHQ. He and his business partner Dylan started this company how long ago?
6-7 years back.
6 or 7 years back.
Yeah.
And you guys have just moved into this fairly new building, correct?
Yep, that's right, a year back.
About a year ago, and it's completely different from when I first met you.
Definitely, a lot of change over the years.
A lot of change, a lot of great change, a lot
Yep.
of space for one. All right, guys, let's come on in and take a tour and learn more about why rabbits and cavies here in Singapore, the big populated city with a very small country. So you've been, Alfie, you've been doing rabbits for a few years. How long?
I would say close to 10 years.
How did you get started?
Okay, I started like most people with rabbits from pet shop. So back then, rabbits, they weren't exactly like the ones we have these days. They were basically longer in the face, long ears. Most of all, they were very ill-behaved. They scratch, they bite. So they were a nightmare, honestly. They were terrible.
So the rabbits back when you started owning rabbits in Singapore they look different than they did now here in Singapore.
Definitely.
So you couldn't find like Netherland dwarfs or Holland Lofts in Singapore, correct?
No way.
They were like a local kind of breed,
Crossbred, yeah.
crossbred, so they had longer faces, longer ears. And what did you say about their temperaments?
Horrible.
Horrible temperaments. So not something you want to take home to your kids.
Never.
So then what happened? Why now are we're seeing a shop that you and your partner have started that's dedicated to Netherland dwarfs, basically Holland Lofts, cute rabbits? What happened between 10 years ago when you had your first pet rabbits, the less attractive ones that were scratching, to what we see now, which are basically like an Airbnb style rabbit?
Yeah, okay. So basically, those rabbits that we talk about, I didn't have them for too long. I'll say 6 months, and I can't manage them anymore. So from then on, I took a break from rabbits and keep other pets and stuff like that. So it was until 2011 when I went to a mall. There was a rabbit show. That was actually my first show, and I believe you're the one judging the show.
Yeah, that was my first exposure to rabbits in Asia. Well, I was in Japan prior to that, but it was my first experience with rabbits in Southeast Asia. I remember I got an invitation to come over and judge an unsanctioned show, and the guy said, hey, it's a year of the rabbit.
Yep,
right?
right.
It was 2011. So I flew over and spent 10 days here working at the Suntec City Mall in Singapore, and lo and behold, who shows up?
Yeah, I was there with my very first rabbit. It was a lionhead, my lionhead.
Magpie lionhead.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Did it win a prize?
Just best of breed.
It was best of breed?
Yep.
I thought I got something like best color.
Probably.
I think I got best color. I have a soft spot for magpie rodents. Anyway, so you find out about rabbit showing at this point, true?
Yeah.
Didn't really know about it prior to that?
Yeah, that's right.
And what happens?
Basically, I was blown apart. Okay, first and foremost, the rabbits, they look very different. In general, the dwarf breeds, the huge head, the short ears, and how well natured they are. Basically, when you post them on the table, when I was looking at them from far and you describing every small details, wow, they are amazing. I know I want to have them.
So it was there that day when you're at the mall that you're like, this is something different.
Yeah.
You saw what show rabbits look like.
Yeah.
What competitive rabbits that came from a background where they were raised from a young age, when they were handled, what they could look like and what they could feel like and act like, correct?
Correct.
And you fell in love.
Definitely.
And here we are, 7 years later,
Yep.
and you and your partner have a shop dedicated to rabbits and cavies and their owners in Singapore.
Yep, that's right.
Pretty amazing story. I'm honored to be there from the get-go. It's I think my 4th time here in Singapore, and just taking a couple days to hang out with you guys and learn about what your latest projects are, how you're advancing the rabbit and cavy hobby and owning here in Singapore. It blows my mind. So let's take a little quick tour of this RHQ. First of all, you've been in the news, right? You've been in the newspaper.
Yep. couple of times.
Featured for what you're doing, which is, look at these photos. These are not local rabbits with long faces. These are, looks like a French lop or some kind of lop here.
Yeah, French lop, that's
A dwarf, a Californian mini Rex. So, tell us about how you've promoted rabbits to the public using media like this.
Okay, basically, I try to raise the awareness for rabbits. Okay, how to care for them properly. What's so special about the rabbits they see these days? The ones that come from the States, how they would bred, and how we try to pass on the right temperament.
So passing on the temperament, you've mentioned this several times now. That's really important.
That's right.
So because the people that are owning these rabbits are not farmers, right?
That's right.
What kind of people are owning rabbits here in Singapore?
They are basically end users, family with kids. So to them, the first pet is very important. We want them to be responsible for the pet, to care for them rightly.
Do you find that rabbits oftentimes are the first pet for some of these families?
More or less.
More or less.
Yeah.
So it's before they ever own a dog or a cat,
Yeah,
they're owning a rabbit.
that's right.
And they're figuring out then, how to do it,
Correct.
right? So, you grew up here in Singapore, right? Did you grow up on a farm?
No.
No. How did you grow up? What was your house like as a kid?
Okay, for us, we live in high-rise building. We've got an HDB, so it's very clustered. It's pretty small, so we don't have the luxury of having lots of animals, goats, dogs, cats. So to have a rabbit in a household, it'd be pretty good. Pretty
It
awesome.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And even though you couldn't own those animals as a kid, did you have envy? You always loved animals, I take it?
Definitely. We all love animals.
You're probably watching TV, watching Animal Planet, and there's
Yeah, that's
all these
right.
people that own animals throughout the world, and it's something you couldn't do.
Correct.
But then you get into rabbits, and you're like, light bulbs go off.
Definitely.
So then you start to promote these, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So what did you had to buy rabbits from the U.S.?
Yeah. So my first time rabbits they basically came from the States. So when I first imported them, I was pretty amazed because they are all adults, but they behave very, very well compared to the ones that I had before.
Again, you bring up that behavior aspect.
It's very important for me because a rabbit should behave like a rabbit. And putting aside the beautiful features, the gorgeous head, the ears, they were nothing like I've ever seen before.
Amazing. And what was your first love? I mean, you had the lion head that was a magpie.
Yeah.
Then you start learning about show breeds. What breed of rabbit that we had in the U.S. and the area were you first attracted to? That was like, wow, that's ideal. That's what I want.
It will be the Netherlands dwarf.
It was.
I think a Netherlands dwarf is pretty much like a guy kind of animal. It resembles like an alpha animal. It's proud, it holds its chest up high, nice and very proud.
Very proud. And small.
Small, yes.
So again, it makes sense in a place like this, correct?
Definitely, yeah.
All right, very cool. Let's take a little tour if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Walk around. We've got the Hall of Fame here, right?
Yeah.
Very cool wall that's dedicated to some of your past, right?
Yeah, some of the shows I've attended over the years.
So what's happened? Have you had ARBA sanctioned shows here in Singapore?
Yeah, we had a couple of sanctioned shows over here in Singapore.
And you've kind of gone in collaboration with some of the other countries that may be hosting shows at the same time, so you guys can fly over judges and share expenses. Is that something that's happened?
Correct. So we've been sharing judges with Indonesia, Malaysia. We fly them over to Singapore and then home to other places to judge. So it helps with the cost quite a bit.
Absolutely, because though we're geographically, you're not Malaysia, you're not Indonesia, we're a separate country. We're still somewhat kind of close, right? I mean, I just came from Manila. It was a 3-hour flight from Philippines where I judged over the weekend. So it's not like in the U.S. you talk about a 3-hour flight. It's not a big deal. So
very close.
So you guys have maximized on that aspect to incorporate all of the different countries that are doing ARBA shows in Southeast Asia, correct?
Yep.
Very cool. So what year did you have your first sanctioned ARBA show in Singapore?
2012.
It's 2012.
Yeah.
And that was in, where did you host that first show?
It was a community center.
Okay.
It was a double show. So the following year, 2013, we have it in a bigger ground at an expo hall.
That was the Pet Expo?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. And how was the turnout? How many rabbits did you have in those sanctioned shows?
100 of rabbits.
100
it
rabbits.
was amazing.
So by that point, so you're talking between 2011,
Yep.
when you first introduced the rabbits, by 2013, other people have begun to find out about this.
That's right.
Through you and your marketing, your sharing of the hobby, and they're like, hey, they had the same kind of reaction, right? This is a good idea.
Yeah. Nobody knew rabbits make such good pets.
Nobody knew rabbits made such good pets. And so they came out in big numbers and promoted and took part in your show, correct?
Yeah.
And they had a great time.
Definitely.
Right? So let's look at some of your awards. You've got Reserve and Show and Best of Breeds. Yeah, these are awesome. So you've done pretty well.
Decently, still improving.
And what would you say was your most successful rabbit? Was that a Netherlands dwarf?
Netherlands dwarf, yeah.
Which one?
His name is Tuck Life.
Okay.
So basically, it started from his grandfather was an import. So his father was a rabbit called BO. I actually showed him in Malaysia and Singapore, which he won BOB. So Tuck Life is a son of that. And actually flew Tuck Life to Thailand and he won Best of it as well.
Amazing. So that's something that you can also do here. You don't have a lot of show opportunities in Singapore.
That's right.
But you were able to fly your rabbits to other countries and show them in their area sanctioned shows because you're limited here, right?
That's right.
That's tough because is it hard to get the rabbits back into Singapore? Are there laws that kind of like, we have USDA regulations that prevent us from crossing borders. You probably have similar limitations here, true, right?
Definitely. It's even tougher over here, I believe, with one of the worst regulations around for animals. In fact, whenever animals fly out of the country, we have to fly them back with health certificates and they have to be quarantined for 2 weeks.
Amazing. 2-week quarantine just to be able to show your rabbits and bring them back into your country where they originated. So
That's right.
it takes a lot of dedication, but you must love it.
Definitely.
Very cool. Now let's take another look around. We've got all these awards, of course, the Hall of Fame, and then what you specialize in. What's important in Singapore? I gather every time I come here, I get more and more that health and well-being is important for everybody. Of course, for people, right? But when I walk around this room, we talk about the products you're offering and the care that you're offering, you and Dylan, that health and well-being is at the forefront, right?
Definitely. A pet in Singapore is more than a pet. It's basically like a family member and we want nothing the best for them. So it's important to have good feed, the right nutrients, supplements, to make sure that they live a long, healthy life.
So unlike in the US where you might have many show rabbits, here in Singapore, if you're interested in showing rabbits or keeping rabbits, you probably only have 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you're going to do whatever you can to make sure that the rabbits take in the best.
The best.
Right? And that's what you specialize here at RHQ.
Correct.
It's not so much about offering rabbits, it's about offering
The overall package, I would say, rather.
the overall package. All right, let's take a look around at some of the products you're offering. I mean, look at these chew toys. This is an entire area of items that are fun for rabbits, but also they're meant for their well-being, correct?
Yeah, basically it keeps them stimulated.
Okay.
Like for a start, we have a play band that can move around rather than being put in a cage. So rabbits by nature, they operate so that it's secure. So most of their toys and heights are dark.
Okay, so kind of to emulate that living in the ground, right?
Correct,
Where rabbits feel safe.
The burrows and all.
So like I've got these products here, it's called a carrot cottage.
Yep. Perfect for rabbits, they love it inside. At the same time, hay on the outside.
Got hay on the outside, so it's delicious.
Correct. It's fun to play.
It's dark.
Yep.
And it offers a safe zone. All right, awesome. And you got these baskets over here. What are they made of?
Hay-based material.
Hay base, okay.
Yep.
So they're soft, but
Yeah, basically for them to scratch and to keep their teeth in shape.
okay. And it probably offers, so if they're living on maybe a wire floor, it offers a safer or softer place for them to get away from.
Correct. So that they won't get hawks and stuff like that.
Very cool. You've got some tubes and burrows that are also offered.
Yep.
Awesome. Lots of chew products. More dark places to hide.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Mental stimulation is basically very important for rabbits as well.
Because
It makes them happy.
they're otherwise bored.
Yeah, you don't want a bored rabbit. That's the last thing you want. A rabbit that's bored.
Because they get destructive.
Definitely.
And other things.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Very cool. So you've got products over here for feed. It looks like you've got some U.S. products here as well.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I got a series of products from Oxygen. They are basically supplements that cater to rabbit specifics. For example, like we have the Immunize here, which I strongly recommend. It's basically a supplement that helps build up the immune system of animals. So with a stronger immune system in place, you don't get sick rabbits so often. And vet fees can be costly over here.
I'm sure. Are veterinarians? Is there a vet school first of all here in Singapore?
Yeah.
There is a vet school.
Yeah, no vet school, no.
No. So where are the veterinarians getting their schooling?
Okay, it's basically in Australia.
In Australia. And they're coming back here. Are they Singaporean born?
Singaporean ones.
Go to Australia, go to vet school, come back.
Yep.
And do you think they're learning a lot about rabbits at vet school?
I like to think so.
You'd like to think
But
so?
I think it helps that they have a lot of attachment overseas. It helps them to see real illnesses firsthand. So with that experience, it usually helps us quite.
Basically, there's more rabbits in Australia, correct?
Yeah.
So you're hoping that if they're going there and getting their schooling, they're probably coming back with more knowledge
Correct.
than they would have learned locally.
That's That's right.
Very cool. So rabbit, again, health and well-being is super important wherever we go in the shop, and whatever you're doing. And obviously these products that I'm familiar with back home are even here in your shop here in Singapore. And pretty cool stuff.
Nothing but the best.
Yeah, only but the best, right? This is your, of course, your
Counter.
check-in area, but this
Yeah.
kind of catches everybody's eye when they walk in the door. That's a barber shop.
This is where I do my hair.
This is where you- Let's take a look inside. This is something you wouldn't find in just anywhere in the world.
Yeah,
What
one
is
of a
this?
kind. This is a barber shop.
I mean, where you get your hair done, where I get my hair done,
We could if you want to,
we
but
could, but
nah, today's for the rabbits. So this is where the rabbits are being groomed, basically. Nothing but rabbits. So over here, when we do the grooming for rabbits, it's recommended to groom them once a month. So there are things to look out for. For instance, the long nails, if you don't trim them often enough, it will break off quite easily. We clean the scent glands, the earwax, dry bath, check on the teeth, and stuff like that.
amazing. So a lot of stuff that we take for granted back in the U.S., you guys are specializing in here and offering to your customers or other owners of rabbits and cavies, right?
Correct.
And they're coming here, and you open on Saturdays and Sundays. Is that true?
That's right.
And this room may be empty today. It's the middle of the week, but you're saying on the weekends. You told me earlier. What could we expect to find in this room on a Saturday or Sunday?
It's gonna be a mess. We basically have like 4 to 5 groomers on the weekends.
4 to 5 groomers specializing in rabbits and guinea pigs.
Yep.
They're sitting here
Yep.
doing what they do best,
Correct.
grooming rabbits. And you got a lot of tools over here that look familiar with. You got some other ones, right?
Yeah, okay. Before we start off, we would like to take a look at the rabbit first to make sure that they weigh consistently every month, whether or not they are decreasing weight, and this could be underlying issues, you see.
So you're keeping records for these people as well.
Yeah,
You
that's right.
keep like you're not a veterinarian, but it's kind of like a veterinarian's office where you're keeping records and data so you can inform the owner about whether or not their rabbit's losing weight or
Right.
gaining weight, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so it really is again about that health and well-being. So they get weighed first of all, or it gets measured or documented by one of your staff,
Correct.
right? And then what happens?
So, okay, one thing interesting that we do here is that, okay, when we suspect rabbit having mites, okay, the telltale signs will be loose fur, also dry skin.
Okay.
So what we do is we just scotch tape to take out the loose skin and we look at under the scope.
Really?
Check for
That's what
mites.
the microscope's for.
Yeah.
So you're actually looking to make sure that what you suspect is
For mites,
It's fur mites. And what do you see on that piece of tape when you put it under the microscope? What do mites look like? I wouldn't even know, honestly. I don't
it's
look
brown
at it.
with legs around it, basically.
Really? All right. So, and I imagine that in this part of the world where it's very hot, right? I mean, it's really hot. Really hot, guys. It's humid, right? The weather doesn't change. It's pretty much this temperature and this humidity.
365
With
here.
slight variation all year long. Those kind of habitats, that kind of environment, mites and bugs and stuff love it, right?
Humidity especially, yes.
Humidity especially. So that's a challenge that if you're going to own a rabbit or any kind of animal, you're going to be faced with the consequences of a hot
Correct.
environment. So your job then is to make sure that the owners stay on top of it.
Correct.
All right, cool. So you check for weight. You're going to check for mites. What else?
The teeth, whether or not they are overlapping properly, whether or not they're having bloated stomach, and in general, the whole condition, whether or not there are issues.
So it's like triage. So they come in here and they get examined first, right?
Yeah.
Take some notes, and then they go into the grooming part.
Correct, that's right.
All right, very cool. Other than clipping toenails, what else would we expect to be groomed?
We clean the scent glands, okay,
Okay.
especially for bugs, because bugs, they are dominant, they mark the territory. So the scent glands tend to sting a little, so it's advisable to clean the scent glands, I'll say once a month.
Okay.
So we also do brushing of fur, which is important, because rabbits, they are not very clean animals, but being clean means that they groom themselves pretty often. While doing that, they digest a lot of fur.
Which can be very detrimental.
Correct.
And you probably sell products here that have an enzyme in there to help break down the fur, but
That's right. We don't want the fur more insect clogging the digestive tract.
right. So a lot of the stuff, guys, we take for granted back where we are in the U.S. or wherever you're watching in the world. If you're coming from a kind of a rural environment, but here, like Alfie and Dylan, they didn't grow up on a farm. They grew up in the city. So a lot of the people, actually, pretty much all the people that live here, they come from that same background. So when we're able to do it at home, we're able to figure out how to take care of our animals in this very meticulous way. Maybe the citizens here don't, so they rely on experts like this to do the job for them so that the animals are taken care of. It's honestly very brilliant. It's something that it's taken me some time, but I have light bulbs going off now. I know why you go to these extra steps, because you're not from an agricultural background.
That's right.
So it's your job as experts in the field to share that good knowledge.
Definitely, yeah. I also feel that it's my responsibility when I sell a pet. I have to guide the owners the proper care of the rabbits. I have to do grooming. Previously, we don't do grooming at all because it's quite a chore, honestly.
Right.
But it's a responsibility because the animals must be managed properly. We want them to enjoy the companionship and not something that they grow sick of over time.
Because again, like you said, it's people are owning one rabbit, two rabbits, and it's oftentimes their very first pet.
That's right.
Right, so it's got to be important. You got to take care of it and show their kids, if it's family, how to properly do it. And then they take good care of their animals, like when we are in the U.S. Like, I mean, I got my start doing rabbits as a young kid, where other kids are not doing rabbits or animals or doing sports. But you learn a lot about life, a lot about the values by owning animals, right?
Yep.
Very cool. So
Like that.
responsibilities learned by those kids that are, their families when they own their first rabbits. So very cool stuff. All right, let's take a look more around the shopping. We take a look at some rabbits.
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. All right, let's take a quick stop here, though. This signage right here, your signage is really unmatched. It's cool stuff.
Okay.
So you've got basically a huge wall display dedicated to teaching the average person coming in, if they want to learn about what a
Sure,
home
rabbit is.
looks
Yep.
like, they're going to look here. And honestly, it's very easy to understand. And the
That's
terminology you've used is excellent. I kind of want to copy it and use it at a judges conference. Yeah, it's cool stuff. So we've got one for hollow mops, Neville dwarfs. Are those the two most popular breeds
Yep.
here in Singapore?
Only because they're small.
Because they're small.
Yeah.
Small and
Cute.
and so cute, right? And
Yeah.
who's this right here?
Okay, this is Striker. That's one of my favorite bugs. It's a senior bug. He's a broken orange.
Broken orange. Tell us about orange. What
Orange.
does that mean to Singapore?
It means gold. We all love
Gold.
orange. It looks fancy, clean, beautiful.
You know where I'm from, orange is not necessarily one of the most popular colors.
Seriously, okay.
I think you know this. But
Okay.
it is beautiful, and he's a really good example of an orange, right? And okay, so you've never been to the U.S., correct?
No.
Never been to an ARBA show outside of
Nope.
Asia, right?
That's
So
right.
how the heck did you figure out that this is a good example of a breed? How did you figure out what good hollow mops look like and Neville dwarfs look like?
Because every breed, right, follows the guideline from above. We have the standard of perfection, which is pretty much like the chart over there. So I guess it's important to speak to breeders and kind of find out what the perspective of your perfect animal. Everybody's interpretation is different.
Okay, but there is one written standard.
Yep, correct.
And so you're reading. Do you remember the first time you opened the standard of perfection?
Yep.
Were you like, does
What
this make
the
sense?
heck?
What the heck?
I was expecting more pictures than words though.
Note that down. Okay, so you're expecting more pictures than words. You're reading. You're going, what the heck? So you had to figure out what those words meant, right?
Correct.
So what did you do? Did you talk to people or
Yeah.
look at pictures?
Definitely, I've talked to breeders in US, talked to friends, talked to Ellen to learn about what each lingo means basically. Like for a starter, nobody know what is a crown in the monologue. So we have to understand the proper definition of crown.
Crown doesn't exactly look like a jewel, does it?
Yeah.
No. So you had to ask a lot of questions.
Right. We have to understand and digest the standards before we can proceed any further.
Amazing. So it took a lot of research to get this far, to figure out which hollow mops and which Neville dwarfs were ones that were standardized and that you wanted to promote in your country, correct?
Correct.
Cool stuff. So, all right, I'm going to quiz you.
Yep.
All right, so you've got this hollow mop here, right?
Yep.
How old is he?
He's I would say 2 years plus.
2 years plus, so he's a mature senior buck.
Yep.
All right, so given all your understanding
Yep.
of hollow mops and the standard, tell us, how do you, if you were going to judge him, does he have a good head?
I love his head. It's gorgeous. Okay.
And how about his ears?
Excellent ears.
They're good ears, aren't they? And what makes the ears, go down? There's really no control.
Yeah, the crown is perfect in my opinion. Basically, we want a very well placed crown so that the ears fall nicely just behind the eyes.
That's like a direct quote from the standard.
Yeah,
Just behind
and
the
that's
top
my
of the eye.
interpretation as well.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, you guys blow my mind. It doesn't matter that you're a world away. You've been able to learn rabbits and master rabbits just like we have. It's remarkable. And what else is important about a hollow mop? I like to call him the bulldog of rabbit breeds, but and this guy has that bulldog look. What is that from?
Okay, basically, on a lot we want bones,
Bone.
thick bones, short limbs. So this guy pretty much has it. I'm quite happy with his front limbs, which is pretty short.
Yeah, very
and
short.
thick.
He's kind of wound up because he's been playing it here on the table for a little while, right?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
normally we had him out earlier, and you were able to get him up, and he looked awesome.
Sure,
He's a very good representative of the breed, and he's one of your favorite colors.
that's right.
So he's like he is gold.
He's the right package for me.
He's the right package for you. Very cool. I guess we'll let him play a little bit more. But great job with him. I noticed some display cases here. There's guinea pigs inside.
Yeah, that's right.
So you also have guinea pigs. You also have cavies.
Yeah, because okay, once we got started on rabbits, we are comfortable rabbits, we want to explore something different, a new challenge to keep us stimulated. So, cavy, they are part of the bar as well.
That was the next thing.
Correct.
And how are cavies perceived here in Singapore? Are they a popular pet or are they like an emerging pet?
They are not as popular as rabbits in their appearance. They are probably not the cutest at times too.
Right. But they still make sense.
Yeah, also like cavy, they have a very interesting personality.
How would you describe it?
Expressive. The way they whistle, when they see food, when they're scared. But rabbits, they're always quiet.
Always quiet.
A little different.
And is quiet a good thing in Singapore where people are living in apartments?
Definitely. We are all closely knit, live nearby.
So a quiet pet is ideal.
Perfect.
Yeah. We talked about cleanliness and how you obviously bring your rabbits here to get, their health checked up on and make sure that they're properly groomed.
Yeah.
What about rabbits is special when it comes to smell and sanitation? If you're living in a small apartment or a small room, for example, this is a big size shop, but this shop honestly is big if someone was actually going to have living quarters, correct?
That's right.
And it smells great in here. The smell, it smells, it's clean. So how are you able to do it, and why is smell important?
Okay, basically, most of the rabbits, right, they can be doctor trained. So we have the white potty, as you can see, in place.
Even the guinea pigs, by the way.
Yep, that's right.
So are your guinea pigs potty trained?
Guinea pigs, they are a little more challenging, honestly. I would say the best can go is probably like 60-70% doctor trained.
Amazing.
Whereas
Really?
rabbits, they can go 100%.
I've actually never heard of a guinea pig being potty trained, but I'm telling you right now, there is poop in that in the litter box, so they are using it. So from an early age, are you trying to promote rabbits and guinea pigs that use a litter box?
Definitely.
Because
it smells better. Honestly, when they are being in the litter box, right, the smell is being absorbed by the cat litter inside the box. And moving on, they don't make a mess of themselves all over the cage.
Got it.
We want them to be clean, without any stains and moles on the body, so that we don't even see fur mites on them.
wow. And then two, I imagine if they're using a litter box, it's probably easier to clean the cage because the poop and the waste is all over, or is in one
Yes,
concentrated
correct.
area versus all over.
It saves us so much trouble. So basically, when they're all in a potty tray, it's much easier to clean them up.
So when you get rabbits from the U.S., obviously I've never potty trained a rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm imagining the breeders that are helping get you good foundation rabbits are not using a potty,
That's
or a potty
right.
box, whatever it's called. I don't even know the terminology.
Yep.
So what do you do? How do you get a rabbit to use a litter box?
Okay, like for those that are newly imported, right, we try our best to train them. So rabbits by instinct, they love to pee and poo in corners.
Yes.
So we pick a corner, we reinforce their habits.
So
For example.
So you maximize on kind of their habits.
That's right.
Amazing. And then you put the litter box
Yep.
in that spot.
Yep.
And would you say what percentage of rabbits that you toilet train actually pick it up?
I would say a good 80-90%.
80 or 90%. Amazing. Yeah, very cool stuff. And you probably say that potty training is one of the reasons why it smells so good in here because it's
Definitely.
concentrated
Yep.
in small areas. This is a really great poster, wonderful slogan. Tell us about it.
Okay. Love when you're ready. Love for animal. Or love for a partner. Don't love because you're lonely, but only when you're ready to commit. Rabbit is a living thing, just like us.
So rabbit's a living thing. Love when you're ready, not when you're lonely.
Correct.
That's honestly, I've never heard that said before. Is it something unique that you've created on your guys' own?
I think I came across this somewhere online and I thought it really makes sense.
And it hit you, right? So this goes against like the impulse buy. This talks about making a pet ownership, whether it's a rabbit or guinea pig, a long-term activity, right? So that's something that you really, you and your partner Dylan strive for in the customers that come here looking for their first rabbit.
All right.
Very cool. You got a playpen over here.
Yep.
What happens in here? Because you do something you obviously sell the supplies, but
Yep.
what about grooming? And then what happens also here? Do you do some kind of boarding? If someone's going to go on vacation, they can leave the rabbit for a period of time.
Yep. That's right.
And how long is that? How long would people normally keep their rabbits here?
2-3 days to 10 over days. It depends where they're traveling to.
Because here in Singapore, it's a small country, so I imagine there's probably a lot of people traveling, right?
All the time.
I think the airport here is known as one of the busiest airports in the whole world, because people are leaving. They're leaving. They're going someplace else to vacation. They're not, going across the country 40 minutes. They're going to go to Bangkok or Hong Kong or Australia maybe, or even US, right?
So long as they're away from the country, they love it.
If they have a pet, they're probably they need a place to board it. This is one of.
Correct, especially for rabbits, because rabbits, they are pretty sensitive. So one of the common illness that rabbit owners face is gust disease. So this can happen in a matter of 1 or 2 days. So when it happens, you have to act fast. The gut is stop moving. So if you don't intervene, you'll lead to death eventually.
So you really recommend that if they're going to leave home, that they find that either somebody to take care of their animal or come to a specialist like you guys that will take care of them while they're absent. Very cool stuff. Again, it's all about health and well-being.
Yep.
It's incredible because it really is. It's kind of a new concept for a lot of us that are raising rabbits. In our country, of course, we care very deeply about our rabbits, but we own so many more, and our lives really kind of hinge around, our animals because we have more of them.
We all live in a different way.
All in a different way.
The best that we can.
Very, very cool. Before we leave, you had a famous guest here, correct?
Yeah.
So there's a movie that was out last year called
Crazy Rich Asian.
Crazy Rich Asian. Took place here in Singapore.
Yep.
And the lead actress is Constance Wood. She happened to find your shop, right?
Yeah, she's a huge rabbit fanatic.
Huge rabbit fanatic. And she spent how many days here during her filming?
2 days.
She spent 2 days here looking at rabbits, right?
So the moment she touched down, she came right straight to our place.
Amazing. But she didn't leave with a rabbit, did she? Maybe in her near future. Very cool. Guys, thank you very much for joining us here at the Rabbit Show today. We're honored to be here in Singapore and with Alfie and Dylan in their RHQ headquarters. They're rabbit and cavy only shop.
Yep.
It's a different concept to us back home in the US, but something that clearly works very, very well here. And you guys, congratulations on all of your hard work and everything you've done to bring rabbits to your country. Rabbits from the US, ARVA breeds, promoting things that we already do back home. And in this kind of setting, it all makes sense and it all is a lot clearer now. And I hope that you guys listening back home have a better understanding of why rabbits are happening here in this small country and exactly how it's all done and how rabbits are taken care of. All right, thanks for joining.
Most welcome. Anytime.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.